I'm going to explain my 10 photo retouching step for beginners. And I use this 10 step to retouch my image from start to finish. And not just that, I'm going to show you a practical way that you can actually apply this step. So get a pen and paper. Now these 10 steps is actually divided into two. We have the raw processing and also we have the skin retouching. After taking a picture, we have to process the raw file before actually taking the image to Photoshop for skin retouching. So this first step I take when retouching my image is to balance the exposure. So step 1 is to balance exposure. Now if you don't know what exposure is how bright or how dark your image is. So if your image is too bright, it means your image is overexposed. Or if your image is too dark, it means your image is underexposed. But if your image is not too bright or not too dark, it means your image is properly exposed. Now I'm going to show you the practical way you can use to balance your exposure. To balance the exposure of your image, you can either use Capture One or Lightroom or Camera Raw, but I prefer to use Capture One. So for Capture One, I'm just going to come to my adjust right here. And looking at this image, I feel the highlights is looking too much. So I'll go to my high dynamic range and just take down the highlights a little bit like so. And also open up the exposure because I feel it's a little bit underexposed. So I'm going to open up the exposure a little bit. So if I take the exposure up like this, it means the image right now is looking overexposed. While if I take it down, it means it's underexposed. So just for me to just look for that sweet spot, I just make the image properly exposed. Right? So I feel like this works for me. So I'm going to scroll the way down again. Maybe come to the levels and just move this black inside a little bit. And also come to the highlights part and just move this part inside a little bit. Please say the before and after. So say the before and the after. The before and the after. I still feel the highlights is looking too much. So I come to the highlight and just take it down a little bit like so. Alright, so that this works for me. So that's how you can balance your exposure. So after balancing your exposure, the next thing I'm going to do, which goes to step number 2. Step number 2 is color correction. Now, color correction is different from color grading. So with color correction, we are trying to fix the white balance and also fix any overcast color we are seeing on our image. Also, with this color correction, you can actually use it to fix the skin tone, like even out the skin tone. Now, I'm going to show you a practical way you can do this inside of Capture One. So back to Capture One. Now, to correct this color, looking at this image, you can see the image is looking a bit too warm. So I'm just going to come to my color right here and just come to white balance. And after I come to white balance, I'm just going to move the Kelvin towards the blue side to make the image a little bit cooler. If I take it towards the yellow side, I'm making the image look warm. Since I want the image to look cool, so I want to take it towards the cool side a little bit like this. And also, I'm seeing some red overcast on the image, so I'm going to fix that. Now to fix that side of Capture One, I'm just going to come to my ICC profile under this base characteristics and just change it from Nikon to Leica monochrome neutral like this. So you can see it's looking a lot better right now. So I actually learned this from Tosin Junai. So see the before and the after. So I'll come to my white balance again and just try to move the tint towards the magenta side a little bit like this. Also try to move the Kelvin towards the blue side like this, just to color correct the image. Now next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to try to even out the colors on the skin tone, but still on the color correction. I'm going to select my subject. So I'll go to my layers and mask and just select subjects. Now once I've finished selecting that subject, I'm going to press M on my keyboard to see the selection and M again to hide the selection. So what I'm going to do, under my color, I'm going to scroll the way down. I click on skin tone right here under this color editor. Once I click on skin tone, I'm going to click on this pointer icon and just select any color I want the rest of the skin tone to look like. So I want the color to look like this one right here. I'm just going to click on it and just move the uniformity. Under the uniformity, move the hue and move the saturation. I'm just going to even out the skin color. So let's say we started from where we are right now. So this is where we started from and this is where we are right now. Now you can see the big difference between where we started from and where we are by just balancing the exposure and also doing the color correction. Now the third thing I'll do is to actually, so write this down. So number 3, to actually crop the image. Now you can actually crop your image inside of Capture One if you're able to do it, but there are some few occasions which I can't actually crop my image inside of Capture One. I have to take it inside of Photoshop to crop the image because of the generative expand or the content aware. Then if you want to copy your image inside of Capture One, let me show you how you can do that. So to crop your image, just come to this toolbar up here and just click on the crop tool. Then if you want to post for Instagram, I prefer you use this 4:5 crop ratio right here and just crop your image 4:5 because it fits well for Instagram. You can also use 1:1, which is square. It also fits for Instagram, or you can use landscape 5:4 if you want. So 4:5 works for me. So I'm going to crop this image like this and just hit OK, just like that. Now, after balancing your exposure, after do your color correction, and after crop your image, the next thing we are going to do is to actually do the skin retouching right now, which brings us to step number 4, which is image clean up. Now, before you start retouching your image inside of Photoshop, you have to actually clean the image. And this image cleanup can be, you can either remove the blemishes, remove the stray hair, or clean up background. So I'm going to show you how you can actually clean up your image inside of Photoshop before starting skin retouching. So from Capture One, I'm just going to right click the image and just click on Edit With and just click on Adobe Photoshop. And just click on Edit Variant. So you can use PSD or TIFF file. So PSD works for me because PostMess is using PSD. So I was using TIFF before, but I saw PostMess use PSD, so that's why I'm using PSD at the moment. So SSD profile Adobe RGB works for me. Now for me, I'm just going to click on Edit Variant, and this image is going to open inside of Photoshop. Now when this image opens inside of Photoshop, let's start cleaning the image up. Now to clean the image, I first of all duplicate my background layer by pressing on Command J or Ctrl J if I use the Windows. Now image cleanup, we have to remove the blemishes, also remove the stray hair if we want to, and also just remove those dirt on the backdrop. Alright, so to remove the dirt on the backdrop, after duplicating my layer, I'm just going to pick on my remove tool. Once I pick my remove tool, I'm just going to paint on the dirt and just click on OK, and it will automatically remove it. Then if you don't have the remove tool in Photoshop, you can just pick the patch tool right here and just circle around the dirt and just remove it like that. So if you circle around the dirt, remove it, circle around it, remove it, just like that. So this is one way you can actually clean your backdrop. Alright, so you can use the patch tool or you can use the remove tool. You can also use the close stamp tool, but the patch tool actually works better. I'm just going to show you the easiest way to remove your blemishes. Alright, so after you duplicate your layer, just pick your spot healing brush tool. Once you pick your spot healing brush tool, I'm just going to zoom in. Once I zoom in, I'm just going to paint on the blemishes just like that, and it will automatically remove your blemishes for you automatically, just like that. So just do this for the whole of the blemishes and it will automatically remove it. Alright, let me quickly show you the before and the after so you can see. Alright, so see the before and the after. The before and the after. I'm still going to show you how you can use the close stamp tool frequency separation to remove blemishes in a bit. Now to remove the stray hair, this is how I do it. I'll create a new empty layer. Once I create a new empty layer, I'm going to pick my close stamp tool. Once I select my close stamp tool, I'm just going to sample from a close by area. So Alt or Option to sample and just paint over the stray hair. So you can see right now it's not working because my sample is on correct layer. So if you create an empty layer, just change this to correct and below right here. Once you change to correct and below, just press Option or Alternate to sample from a close by area and just paint over the hair which you want to remove. So this method actually works best. But if you want to work faster and you're working on a seamless backdrop like this, what I advise you to do is to just pick your normal brush tool. Once you pick your normal brush tool, increase the brush size. Make sure you're using a soft round brush. So click on your brush right here and set it to a soft round brush. And right now, just sample from a close by area, sample any color and just paint it over the hair and you're just going to remove it. Now this method only works if you are working on a seamless background like this. So you can see right now it's just removing those hair like that. Alright, now you can see the color right here are a bit different. What you can do, just pick your mixer brush tool and just brush on the edges just like that, just to mix the color and just make everything blend. But if you want a professional result, just use the close stamp tool. So once you use the close stamp tool, just brush. So sample and just paint, sample and just paint, sample and just paint, just like that. Now that's how you can actually clean up your image. But But one thing you should take note of, if you're actually cleaning your image, clean image, make sure you're actually taking your time to do it. Because if you actually take your time, you are going to get the best results. So when cleaning your image, don't rush the process. Actually take your time to clean your image. After cleaning your image, that brings us to our step number 5. So number 5 is micro, dodge, and burn. Now if you don't know what micro, dodge, and burn is, micro, dodge, and burn simply means we are going to be brightening up the dark part of the image and also darkening the bright part of the image, just to even the way light falls on the image. Now micro, dodge, and burn is actually easy to do, but it takes a lot of time. Now micro, dodge, and burn is actually the best way to retouch your image. Now if you want to get the best retouching, especially for high-end beauty images, I advise you use the micro, dodge, and burn because it's going to give you best results. Let me show you a practical way how this micro, dodge, and burn actually works and how you can do it yourself. Now for the micro, dodge, and burn, I'm just going to come to my action. And by the way, if you need my actions, I'll be giving that for free, so check the link you show of this video. Once I come to my action, I'm going to click on dodge and burn right here. Once I click on dodge and burn, what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to be brightening up the dark part of the image and darkening dark parts of the image. Alright? So let me show you the idea of how it works. So I'm going to open up the dodge and burn layer. So this is the dodge. So if I just pick my normal brush tool, change the foreground to white, and just leave the flow at 100%, and I just paint on this place right here, you can see it's brightening up those particular places. So see the before and this is the after. So that's for dodge. So dodge means to bright. But if I just come to the burn and I just paint on this place right here, you can see it's darkening those particular places. So that's for the dodge. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do micro, dodge, and burn. So let me just delete that layer, come to my action again, click on dodge and burn. And instead of using a flow of 100%, we want to gradually build up the process. So we're going to take the flow to about 2%. So if we paint, it's not going to be that obvious. So we're going to gradually build it up. Okay. Now to see where to dodge and burn, if you can see it good. Now look at this place right here. I feel it's looking too dark. I can just come to my dodge and just dodge this place under the eyes a little bit like this, just to brighten it up like so. So see the before and the after. Also this part right here, I feel it's looking too bright. I feel it's looking too dark. So I'm going to brighten it up a little bit, just like so. So see the before and the after. Next, you can see where to dodge and where to burn. You have to create something called a visual aid. So to create that visual aid, I'm going to come to my adjustment layer, click on levels adjustment layer, and just move this part inside a little bit. Move this part inside a little bit like this. So like this works for me. After that, I'll click on adjustment layer again and click on black and white adjustment layer. Alright. So right now I can see where to dodge and where to burn better. If you still can't see it, come to your levels again, click on properties, and just move this part inside until you are actually seeing where to burn and where to dodge. Now looking at this image, I feel this part right here looking a bit too dark, so I'm just going to brighten it up. So I'll come to my dodge and burn layer again, come to the dodge. Since I want to brighten this part, I'm just going to paint on it with the dodge just to brighten it. Also paint on this part just to brighten it with the dodge, just like that. And I feel this part are looking too bright, so I'm going to click on my burn and just burn this part a little bit. So this is micro, dodge, and burn. This is how micro, dodge, and burn actually works. So any part of an image that's looking too bright, you have to darken it. Any part of an image that's looking too dark, you have to brighten it. Now take a look at the nose. This part right here looking a bit too dark, so I'll come to my dodge and just dodge it just like this. Alright, so let's quickly see the before and after. So see the before and the after. The before and the after. So let me just group this visual aid and show you the before and after. So let me just hide it. So see the before and the after. The before and the after. Now that's how micro, dodge, and burn works. And I have a whole video dedicated to micro, dodge, and burn. So if you want to learn how micro, dodge, and burn actually works from start to finish, I'll be leaving the link to that video right here, so you can click it and watch it after you finish watching this video. Now the 6th step is actually frequency separation. Now what is frequency separation? Frequency separation is where we separate the colors and the textures from our image. Now with frequency separation, you can also use frequency separation for skin retouching. So if you don't have time to do micro, dodge, and burn, frequency separation is the alternate to micro, dodge, and burn. So a lot of people use frequency separation, including myself. So if you are on the deadline or you want a quick retouch, I advise you use focus separation. You're still going to get amazing results, no doubt. So right now, I'm going to show you how you can actually use focus separation to retouch your image. Alright, now to use focus separation, I'm just going to go to my action again and just click on focus separation system bit right here. And for this image, I'm going to use a radius of 10 and hit OK. Now for the Gaussian blur radius, if you want to keep texture on your image, use a high blur radius. If you want your image to be smooth, use a low blur radius. So I think 10 works for me. I'm going to click on 10 like this. And also, remember I told you there's another way you can actually use to remove blemishes from your image. So you can actually use the focus separation method to remove blemishes for your image as well. Now to remove blemishes for your image with focus separation, just pick your close down tool, change this sample to current layer, make sure your high frequency copy layer is selected, and just zoom in. Press Option or Alternate to sample from the close by area, and just paint over any blemishes which you want to remove the blemishes, just like that. So Alt or Option to sample, and just paint over any blemishes you want to remove. I'm just going to remove that blemishes for you. Alright, so this is how you can actually remove blemishes using focus separation. Like I said earlier, you have to actually take your time when cleaning your image up. I just want to explain everything in this video as quickly and as easy as possible. Alright, now after you finish removing blemishes from your image with this focus separation, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to smoothen out the image using the mixer brush tool. So to do that, just pick your mixer brush tool right here. Make sure this clean brush after you stroke is selected. Wet 30, load 30, mix is on 90, flow is on 20, sample layer selected, because we're going to brushing on this brush layer. With this brush layer selected, click on this high frequency texture right here to hide it. So once you hide it, you can see right now, only the colors are remaining because we want to work on the colors right now. So to brush, just make sure you are using a soft round brush. Make sure you are increasing and decreasing your brush size according to the parts of the image you are working on. So don't use a big brush for a small portion, and don't use a small brush for a big portion. So just press your square brackets key to increase and decrease your brush size according to the parts of your image you want to brush on. And also, make sure you are brushing your highlights separately. You can see I'm brushing these highlights right here separately. And also make sure you are brushing your shadows separately. Make sure you are brushing your metals and the transitions separately as well. So right now what I'm doing, I'm just mixing the color just to make the image look smoother and more even. Alright, so let's quickly see the before and after. So see the before focus separation, after focus separation, the before and the after. You can see the image is looking so much better right now. So you can take your time and do it for the whole body. Alright, so one thing I want you to know during focus separation is that you don't have to brush your shadows into your highlights. So brush shadows, hope you're still writing. So brush shadows separately, highlights separately, and midtones separately. Very important. And also, if you are brushing, make sure you are increasing your brush size. So if you want to brush on a big portion, so let's say this is the highlight and I want to brush on this highlight, I'm not going to be using a small brush to brush inside the highlight like this. Instead, if this is the highlight, I'm going to use a brush that actually fits this highlight to brush on it. Alright, now pay close attention. If I want to work in a small portion like this, I'm not going to be using a big brush size like this to work on this small portion. Instead, this is the small portion. I'm going to use a brush size that actually fits this small portion right here to brush on it. Alright, so that's one thing you should take note of when doing focus separation. So the 7th step I'll do when I retouch my image is the global dodge and burn. Now, unlike micro dodge and burn, global dodge and burn is just like contour dodge and burn, where we just want to make the highlights more intense and make the shadow more intense to add that depth or dimension to our image. Alright, now let me quickly show you how you can do the global dodge and burn on your image. So after doing my focus separation, to do my global dodge and burn, I'm going to come to my action again and just click on dodge and burn again. And after that, I'm going to pick my normal brush tool. Now for my flow, I'm still going to use a flow of 2%. And this time, I'm just going to zoom in, open up the layer, go to my dodge. Now instead of dodging the shadows, I'm just going to dodge the highlights to make it more intense. Alright, so I'll come to the highlights part of the image. I'm just going to brush on it and just paint the highlights of the image just to make it more intense and just make it pop like that. So anywhere there's highlight to my image, I'm just going to dodge it. Remember, dodge is to brighten and burn is to darken. Right? So let's do the before and after. This is the before and the after. The before and the after. I'm still going to do the same thing for the catch light on the eyes. So I want to dodge the catch light just to make it more intense and more visible, just like so. Alright, so see the before and the after. The before and the after. Also, I want to dodge on this part right here. So basically, anywhere you see highlights on your image, just dodge it. So that's for global, dodge, and burn. Now, if I want to burn this image, I'm going to come to my burn, and anywhere there is shadow part, I'm just going to burn it. So basically, I'm going to be burning this part of the head like this. Also, this other part right here, I'm going to be burning the nose like this. Also, the cheek like this. Right? So let's see the before and after. So this is the before and the after. You can see it has added. You can see it has added that depth or that dimension to our image. The before and the after. So basically, for the dodge, let me take my flow to 100%. Now for the dodge, I just dodge. Let me use the white brush. Now for the dodge, I just dodge this part. Anywhere there is highlights, so that's where I dodged. For my image, the eyes, this part right here. Why? For the burn, switch to a black brush. Why? For the burn, I just burn this part. I burn this part. I burn this part. I burn this part. I burn this part behind the nose. I burn under the neck and burn this part just like that. So anywhere there's shadow, I'm going to burn it. And anywhere there's highlights, I'm going to dodge it. Now that's how global dodge above works and how you can actually do it. Now my 8th step I do when retouching is the eyes and teeth whitening. So basically, after doing all this step accordingly, I'm going to do my eyes and teeth whitening. Now, eyes and teeth whitening is, I just want to make the eyes white and just make the teeth white. That's basically what eyes and teeth whitening is. Let me show you a practical way you can actually do it for your own image. As I do the eyes and teeth whitening, I want to come to my action again and just click on eyes and teeth whitening right here. Just zoom in and just paint on the white part of the eyes like so. Also, do the same thing for this other eyes. And come to the teeth and just do the same thing for the teeth. Just like this. And let's see the before and after. So, see the before and the after. The before and the after. If you feel it's too much, you can just come to the opacity and reduce the opacity a little bit, just like that. So that's for the eyes and teeth whitening. The number 9 step which I take when retouching my image is color grading. Color grade. So remember we did our color correction before. Right now we are going to do the color grading. Now color grading is actually different from this color correction. With color correction, we just try to make the white balance look good and also just try to remove any overcast color we saw in the image. But with color grading, we're actually going to give the image the look we want. Alright? Now since we want to give our image the look we want, color grading is a individual choice. There is no right way to retouch, right way or wrong way to color grade rather. So there's no right way or wrong way to color grade. So for color grading, if you give me an image, I can color grade it my way, and if you give someone else the same image, it's going to color grade it their way. So just for you to know what you want to do for your image and know how the basic color grading tool actually works and applies to your own image. Alright, and for this image, I want a dark melanin skin tool. I actually created a preset for it, but I'm going to show you how you can actually do the same thing inside of Camera Raw right now. So I'll do my eyes like this right now. I'm just going to color grade this image right now. So I want to create a sound visible layer by pressing Command Option Shift E or Control Shift Alternate E. Once I create a sound visible layer, I'm going to come to my filter. I'm going to click on Camera Raw filter right here. So if I want to color grade my image inside of Photoshop, I prefer to use Camera Raw to color grade my image. Now I'm going to scroll all the way down. You just come to this calibration, and under this blue primary, I'm going to take it up like this. So plus 22 works for me. I'm going to scroll the way up. Now, looking at this image, I feel it's looking good already. The colors is looking nice. So I want to introduce my own color to it. So that's what color grading is. Alright. So I'm going to come to my HSL right here, which is my hue, saturation, and luminance. Now, hue is the particular color. Saturation is the intensity of the color, while luminance is how bright or how dark you want the color to be. Now I'm going to cut my saturation and just take the saturation of the orange down a little bit, just like this. Also take the saturation of the reds down a little bit and the yellows down a little bit, just like that. Also I'll come to the hue and just move the hue of the yellows towards the orange side like this. And this works for me. Now I'm going to add contrast to this image because I feel the image is lacking contrast. Now to add contrast, I'm just going to come to my curves. Just click on my RGB curves right here, which is this one right here, and just take it down like this. Take the shadow part down and also take the highlight part up a little bit just to add contrast to the image. So this is the before and this is the after. So this is the look I want for this image. What I can do, I can just maybe take down the exposure a little bit, just like this, and I'm going to hit OK. Now on that side, I don't want to color my image. I have an action called the Rich Tone. Now with this Rich Tone right here, actually lenses some placement as well. So once I click on this Rich Tone, you can see what it does to the image. So this is the before and the after. I just add a Rich Tone to the overall image. So the before and the after. If you feel it's too much, you can just reduce the opacity a little bit, just like this. So see the before and the after. So that's for the color grading. And like I said earlier, you can give someone else this image and they're going to give you an entirely different type of color grading. Now for my final step, which I actually do while retouching, which is step number 10, is to actually enhance the entire image. So when I mean enhance the entire image, I'm talking about like adding sharpening or just making the eyes pop, just adding some little details just to make the image pop and everything just come together. So let me show you how you can actually enhance this image right now. Now I'm going to create another stamp visible layer by pressing Ctrl Shift Alternate E again, or Command Option Shift E, and just go to my action right here and just click on this unsharpen eyes and lips mask. Once I click on it, I'll pick my normal brush tool, zoom in, and just paint on these eyes right here. I'm just going to make them pop just like that. Paint on this part, paint on this part. Also, paint on this part right here. Just going to make it pop. Alright, so let's see the before and after. This is the before and the after. So I want to add a bit of digital noise as well. So I go to my action again. Just click on noise right here and just reduce the opacity, because if I zoom right now, you can see the noise is all over the place. So I'm going to reduce the opacity a little bit to about 15, and also add the layer mask and just use a black brush and just remove the noise from the eyes, remove it from the lips and the teeth as well, because I don't want the noise to be on those parts of the image. Now I'm not going to add sharp onto this image because this image is looking sharp already. So I'm going to group everything I did so you can see the before and after. Alright, so see the before and the after, the before and the after. So if you follow this 10 process, you are going to get a good looking image just like this. So number one is to actually balance your exposure. Alright, so after you balance your exposure, do your color correction, crop your image. If you can't crop your image, you can also crop your image inside of Photoshop. So this step doesn't really matter. You can do this step anytime. So after you crop your image, now for the skill retouching, we have to actually clean up our image. So take your time when cleaning up your image. It's very, very important. Take your time to clean up your image. Also, micro dodge and burn. Micro dodge and burn takes a lot of time, like a whole lot of time. So if you're on a deadline, I advise you use frequency separation. If you're on a deadline, instead of dodge and burn, use frequency separation. You can still get a good result. Alright, now you can, after do your frequency separation, I can do global dodge and burn to add depth to your image. So if you want that depth for your image, that's contour dodge and burn. This is it right here. Also, you can use this eyes edit whitening to whiten the eyes and just make the eyes look white and pop. Alright, now color grade. Like I said, color grade is an individual choice. There's no right or wrong way to color grade your image. Just know what you want and just color grade the image like that. Now, if you don't know what you want for this color grade right here, you can actually get a reference. Now you can get a reference image and use this to color grade your image. So you just play with a couple of sliders, you can actually make your image, your own image, to look like your reference image, and that's a good place to start. So that's for the color grading. Now lastly, you can enhance your image. So this enhance your image just simply means adding little details to make your image stand out and just make your image pop. Now if you want to learn how to retouch your image from start to finish, check out this playlist right here. See you guys in my next one. Stay creative.